and the state is upgrading and refurbishing existing warehouses to facilitate aggregation and promote the use of funding instruments. The third and final pillar of our strategy is capacity building for all stakeholders in the agricultural sector. For example, we're setting up a land management agency which will facilitate the process of land allocation. In addition, in partnership with the French National Space Agency, agricultural applications are being developed specifically for the use of the ministry to provide up-to-date agricultural information on crops, soil, and land history. We have an Ogun State Youth and Women's Program, which has trained over 6,000 youth and women in fish farming, fruits and vegetables, rice, and cassava cultivation. This program seeks to ensure equitable inclusion in agriculture by allocating at least 30% of the slots in government programs to youth and women. To bring our strategies to life, we would like to focus on opportunities in the following areas. For rice, Ogun State has set up 2 rice processing mills and is in the process of setting up a large-scale integrated mill in collaboration with a private sector player. Our planned capacity is still a drop in the ocean compared with Nigeria's annual consumption of 7 million tons of rice, implying many opportunities for private sector involvement in rice production. There are 29 rice-producing areas in Ogun State across 10 local government areas, and we're willing to allocate land to serious investors for farming and processing. In particular, we are promoting our own indigenous Ofada rice, a brown rice which has numerous health benefits and export potential. Similarly, for cassava, Ogun State is setting up a 2,000-hectare cassava cluster at Owo to be replicated across the state, given that we have the highest number of cassava processors in the country, residents in the state, and given the high demand of cassava for food. Again, there are many opportunities for the private sector. In the protein value chain, we know that Lagos slaughters 6,000 cattle a day, accounting for 1/4 of the national consumption. And we are setting up commercial abattoirs at Ogere and Lafenwa, and an international market which will serve as an aggregation center. We're encouraging the private sector to set up cattle feedlots and abattoirs to meet the huge need for choice and quality beef, as well as the huge opportunity for dairy products. Taking advantage of our proximity to Lagos and daily flights abroad, as well as the new international airport being built at Wasimi, the state is in the process of setting up 3 horticultural centers at Ikene, Imashai, and Odeda, which will be home to modern greenhouses, tunnels, and open field farms, producing key fruits and vegetables in response to the increasing demand for high-quality produce. Again, there's opportunity for the private sector to serve the Lagos market and exports. Ogun State is already home to the largest fish cluster in Africa at Iriwe in Ijebu-Ode, and Ogun State has therefore replicated this cluster across the state by constructing over 1,000 earthen ponds in 3 locations, and this will continue. We will facilitate the setup of modern fish clusters with logistics facilities, packaging, processing, and cold storage, and this is an attractive sector for entry. Ogun State adopts a sustainable approach to agriculture, for example, through the adoption of the UN Environment Guidelines for tackling climate change. We have a 108,000-hectare land degradation neutrality project at Imeko Aworo in Ogun West, and this is being developed in partnership with the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority and Lafarge. The enabling environment created by our state offers a unique opportunity for partnership with seeds, inputs, mechanization service providers, irrigation, aggregators, processors, marketers, etc. The state is also exploring selective or partial transfer of state-owned assets and plantations through public-private partnerships. As I conclude, I must emphasize that this list of opportunities is not exhaustive, but has been presented to start the conversation. Ogun State invites all of us at this forum to collaborate on feeding Nigeria and feeding Africa through the strengthening of value chains and development of the ecosystem. We look forward to fruitful deliberations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Your Excellencies and distinguished guests, standing on existing protocol, it's been whispered, I've been told that we're running behind on time. And guess what? We'll be talking about food. And I know it's 1 o'clock. And we have to speed it up so that we can get people fed. So we're going to move as quickly as possible to ensure that we try and make up some time. The way I'm going to start, I'm going to have a general question for the panel, and afterwards I'm going to have specific questions for individual panelists. But it's going to be apparently I have to let the Honorable Minister lead.
Hello?
So I'm going to...
Hello?
Hello?
That's it. That's it.
Your Excellencies, the Vice President, the Governor of Ogun State, former President of Mexico, Your Highnesses, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I think I will begin first by congratulating you investors, farmers, young and old, for your resilience and for your supporting us in getting out of recession. Because at the very best, government is only an enabler. Governments don't own farms. They can't afford to. They can't succeed even if they try. We want to thank you for your resilience, you who invest. And I want to say that in future, perhaps the national honors list should feature more of you than of politicians. Because you grow the economy. You grow the economy. You take the risks. The Honorable Commissioner has spoken already about the opportunities which exist in agriculture. I think it was Aliko Dangote who said not too long ago that Nigeria is a land of hidden fortunes. Well, these fortunes have not been that hidden, except that we developed what I call economic cataract. The fortunes have always been here, but oil and gas made us blind. So we abandoned agriculture, and then we depended on imports for survival. We became a nation of importers. We took the theory of free trade to ridiculous extremes, and we became more the victims of free trade than the beneficiaries. Everything had to come by ship, from toothpicks to turbines. Rice, sugar, milk, egg products, tomatoes, fruit juice concentrate, name it, import, don't bother producing. So suddenly we find our youth crossing the desert to go into voluntary